Skid Row has to be one of the hardest places to be on earth. You have alcoholics and derelicts and drug addicts, and the children that come to Para Los Niños have to walk through these streets every day. Our goal is that they are in the midst of an oasis, and our primary focus is to educate these children. What we do is to really focus on the child. We know that education is everything for our children. We know that education is the one thing that actually removes a child out of poverty. But our programs stem from early childhood education. Some of our children begin as early as 6 weeks old. We're one of the only licensed facilities in the city on Skid Row that has beds and cribs for children as early as 6 weeks old. We have preschool, and then we have an elementary charter school, after-school programs, 13 of them, in which we partner with the Los Angeles Unified School District. We have workforce investment programs, in-home counseling, domestic violence, child abuse prevention. And we also work with families when they're the most in need, food, shelter, clothing. We're standing in one of the hallways of Para Los Niños Elementary Charter School. Para Los Niños actually started 30 years ago, and it was started by a woman named Tanya Tull. And she read an article in the Los Angeles Times about the plight of children on Skid Row. 30 years later, we now have 4,000 children a day in 27 different facilities. Our real goal, of course, is to educate children. And our approach to education is very holistic. It isn't just about the test scores, but about providing children with an experience that will teach them how to take the test, that will expand their world and their vision, and as a result, they do better.
Follow me. There are two main guiding principles here at Para Los Niños: an overarching focus on the language and culture of the students and the facilitation of the development of academic English in young English learners. There was already a strong commitment to science learning at Para Los Niños, in part through collaborations with university researchers. But the staff had also noticed a large discrepancy between the learning that was going on in pre-K and the learning going on in the elementary grades. Staff contacted researchers at UCLA, and with funding from the Center for Community Partnerships, we were able to initiate a new project. The goals of the project were to create, implement, and document a new curriculum in language and science concept learning as students transition from their child development centers to their kindergarten classrooms, so that teachers could better prepare them for academic success. There's a strong emphasis on academic English, so the kinds of language, oral language, and literacy that are needed in the classroom, the general academic vocabulary that cuts across content areas, the specialized terms and words that are specific to a content area, and then the grammatical structures that go along with that, and especially at the discourse level, the uses of language, so whether we're explaining or predicting or describing things in the classroom.
That was
Children create meaning and make sense of the world by being part of a rich, complex environment. To create such an environment, teachers need to consider both the physical and social aspects of a classroom. These two aspects need to work together to promote collaboration, inquiry, creativity, and curiosity. We've set up areas like you see in this library here, where it has a couch and rugs and plants, where children can come and sit with their peers to read together, or sit with a teacher where they can sit on the floor. All of these things, this feeling of warmth and coziness, helps them feel safe to ask questions and to take risks. At the heart of our guiding philosophy is the belief in each child's natural curiosity, capability, and potential to reach high standards of achievement. That belief is reflected in every decision we make about teaching and learning, and how we set up our room environment, and in the experiences we put out for children, and in how we display children's work. So we put their work against very simple pieces of paper up against whiteboard, so that it's the children's work, student work, that really stands out.
So in the next section, we're going to go to some pre-K and some kindergarten classrooms, and you'll have a chance to see firsthand the teachers and the students working together in a context where science, language and literacy are all integrated. I want you to remember before you go into the classroom, though, the importance of the clarity of the teacher's goals. The teachers, you will see, are really clear about what the learning is that they want to take place both in science and the language structures to support the science learning and the literacy that they're going to be developing during the course of these lessons.
Okay, good morning everybody.
Good morning, teacher.
Good morning teachers. Good morning friends. Today we're going to talk about the color of his own. We are going to find our own color today. We're going to create our own color with different liquid and on our table. So what we're going to do today, we're going to read a book about who knows what kind of animal is this? Hare? Hare, what kind of animal is this? What kind of animal, Francia?
Chameleon.
A chameleon. Who can tell me what color is the chameleon in the picture? Ruben?
Yellow and green and blue. And yo tengo yellow and rojo and rojo. Green. Yo tengo orange and pink. Green.
Good. The chameleon on the picture is green. He has green. He has blue. He has orange. He has pink. He has red. He has black. He has white. Is it has a lot of colors or just one color?
A lot.
Ruben?
A lot.
A lot of colors. A lot of colors on the picture. Good. So now what we're going to do is, put your hands down. Let me tell you what we're going to do. We will go to one of the tables, and we're going to try to do our own colors. We're going to create our own colors, so we have our own colors on our own. So on one table, we're going to use a dropper, and we're going to use liquid paint to put on the paper. And we have the other table where we're going to have clay, and you're going to create something that you want it to be yours, so we can paint later on with your own color. And then we're going to work on the floor with tempera, and we're going to create our own colors with the white paper on the other using tempera. So we have a lot of choices, and we have a choice also in the right area where you can go and write the story about the chameleon. What color is your own color? What color do you like?
Blue.
So you're going to create blue. Anthony is going to work with blue. That's the color that he likes. What are you going to use? You want to use tempera on the floor, on the paper floor, or you want to use liquid paint with the droppers at the table?
Liquid paint.
Liquid? Okay, you can go to the table and wait for me at the table, okay? Aquí. So we are going to get some, Edward, look. We're going to squeeze it, and we're going to get paint, and we're going to drop it on the piece of paper. What happened? What happened to it? What?
Red is red.
It's red. Okay, so this one, Jean said that it's red. What color is this, Janelli? Red? What color is this, Edward? Edward says it's orange. Jean says it's red. So let's see what happened if I put green. This is green. Let's see what happened to the orange or the red if I put green. Let's see what color I create. For me, it's my own color. I'm making my own color. Then nobody else will have, just me, like the chameleon wanted to have his own color. What colors do you use to make brown? What colors are those? Can you tell me the name of the colors?
Yeah.
What color?
Orange and green.
You mix orange and green and it's come out brown? There we go. So what is the name of that brown? Do you have a name for it? How are you going to name it?
Horse.
So it will be
Horse because horses are brown.
horses are brown? Okay, so we're going to call it. We're going to call it.
Because one day my took me to the zoo, I saw a horse.
Yes, sir.
I saw a horse and then it was brown.
So the horse has its own color, right? So now this one is brown horse. I want everybody on the carpet, please, before we go outside. I like how Lexi is sitting down and Lisha is sitting down. Okay, let's see. We did. Turn around, Edward, please. I want my friend Anthony, and who did this?
Samantha.
Anthony and Samantha. Anthony and Samantha create their own color today. Like, what was the name of the book in the morning?
Chameleon colors.
The colors of the chameleon, the colors of his own. And what happened in this story?
Chameleon quería citar su color favorito.
He wanted to find his own favorite color.
Y después como se pararon a sus barras tétricas, tenía black, brown, orange, brown, black, brown, orange, brown, black, orange.
Jean, can you talk to teacher Graciela, teacher Ramona, please? Thank you. Let me show you something. Everybody worked really hard today. We used some liquid paint with what? How did we get the paint? What is it?
Droppers.
Droppers. And what did we use to create these ones right here?
With brushes.
With brushes. And this is, what's the name of this paint? Who remembers?
Brown and pink and purple.
Tempera paint.
And blue.
And
blue.
Liquid paint.
Liquid.
So, I have a question for you. If a chameleon comes right now, if a chameleon comes in the classroom, walking, there comes the chameleons, and he sits on my pants. Just wait, let me finish. I know that you know. I know that for sure. And he sits on my pants. What color is he going to be?
Porque se paró tu pantalón. Se va a hacer black.
Because he's that on my pants, it's going to be black. But why? Why he's changing to black? Because of Yesenia, we raise our hands.
Se te paró tu pantalón.
Because he sat on my pants. Samantha, what is going to happen to the chameleon that sits on Dionelli's shirt?
He's gonna be orange.
He is going to be orange. Why, Samantha?
Because Janelle's shirt.
Wait, let Samantha finish, Edward. Because of what?
Because her shirt is orange.
Because his shirt is orange. And what happened if he sits on your shirt?
It's gonna be purple.
He's
It's gonna be purple.
So now it's time to go outside, and And we're going to work with the, Malia wants to keep working with her watercolors. Okay? And you too? Okay, that's fine. We can go outside and keep working with the watercolors. You want to finish it outside too? Okay, let me see who's ready. Hi, my name is Silvia Fuentes, and I'm one of the teachers in the preschool classroom at Para los Niños, the Red Room. And then I would like to talk about more about this activity. We do a lesson planning according to the children interests. In this case, we were planning our lesson plan about identity. We were talking in the classroom about identity, and they were talking about their face, the shape of their face, their hair, the color of their eyes, the color on their skin. They were interested in colors. Some of the girls were, I like pink. Another girl, I don't like pink, I like purple. Another boy would say, I like green. No, green is not for boys, it's blue is for boys. So we get into this where they were interested in colors. So we decided to have this activity with some materials where their children were able to pick their own color or actually create their own color and name their own color. The goals in this lesson was actually for them to find out on their own how to create their own colors. So we get the colors, we got watercolors, we got tempera out, we got droppers, we got white paper, we got oil pastel crayons, we got regular crayons, because so the child is able to pick materials on their own. And they also were able to observe, and they were also to use their hands, and they were also were able to look, to communicate to each other, to use their language. It's conversations and questions. Let's experiment, let's mix the watercolor. Let's see what color comes in. Let's put a little bit of white in it. Let's put a little bit of more water in it. Let's see what it comes out. Let's observe what happened to the paint. And then comparing, this is dark, this is light, this is orange, light orange, or I mix. If I mix red and white, it comes out pink, light pink, dark pink. Do the observations. What happened when you put a lot of the white? What happened? It comes out light, darker. What kind of orange is that? How can you name it? How can you compare that orange into something that you already know? During the lesson, I have the opportunity to give some information or add to their language. I like to walk through the classroom and see and listen to what they're doing and to what they're saying. So this gives me an opportunity to ask questions and add to the vocabulary, and clarify some things. In this case, I went back to Anthony and I started asking him questions, and he was able to tell me step by step how he was able to mix and create the one that he actually called pink. You did that color. How do you create that color?
Blue and red and black and this one. And we were doing it.
So you put green, you put blue, and then you put red, and it came out that color? I also find the opportunity to give him more information and to give him more language that was new for him. What color is that? Do you know?
Pink.
It's kind of pink, but it looks more like a burgundy. Do you know that color, burgundy? Burgundy is a little bit darker than pink and then red. So it's a mix of color, but that is your own color, right? When I talk to the children about their work, I write everything down they tell me about their activity. In this case, Samantha named this color brown horse, this one purple coffee. I need to be sure, that my co-workers and I write everything they tell us about their ideas. That makes the children feel so important. Their language, their ideas, the communication is really important.
Today we have a very exciting lesson about roots. Roots. Can you see the roots here? Yeah. Can you show me, Madian, where the roots are? Yeah. Very good. How about you, Catherine? Can you show me where the roots are? That's That's right. How about you, Yareli? Can you show me where the roots are? Very nice. How about you, Santos? Can you show me where the roots are? That's right. Now, all of you are going to have a chance today to see roots. But first, I want to share some information about them. So, my first question is, what do you think grows first when you plant a seed? Hold on, with the hands up. If you plant a seed, what do you think grows first? Raise your hand. Roger.
The roots.
The roots, exactly. You are absolutely right. What did Roger say?
The roots.
The roots. Now, the roots grow under the seed. Where the seed is, it grows under. And the seed is where? Where did we plant the seed?
And the soil.
Raise your hand if someone can tell me. Thank you, Alberto.
In the soil.
Yes, very good, Alberto. We planted them in the soil. That's why I chose black, because black represents the soil. When a seed grows, there is the first root that grows. This one, this big, thick one that you see coming down from the seed is called the primary root. Can you say that? Primary root. It comes from the word primera. La primera. In English, primary. Primera. Primary root. It is big. Look at this. Look at how thick. How thick it is. Gruesa. Thick.
It's bigger.
It's the biggest root from the seed. You're right. Secondary roots. Segundo. Secondary. Do you see a lot of secondary roots?
Yeah.
Let me see who can show me one. Let me see. I'm going to find out someone who's sitting down quietly. Catherine, I saw you quietly. Can you show me where there's one secondary root? Can you come and point to it? Let's see. Everybody pay attention to see if she did it right. Is she right?
Yeah.
A big applause. Very nice. Very, very nice. Joseph, Deborah showed you the primary root, the biggest root. Can you show me? Go ahead. Yes, very good. A big applause for Joseph. He learned about the primary root. Good job. You can sit down, Joseph. Did you know that roots have little tiny hairs? Yes. Are the root hairs big
No.
or are they small? Little. I'm going to tell you another word that you can use for small, but these are super small. The word is, are you ready?
Yes.
Tiny.
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 Seed.
Well, hairs. We're talking about the root hairs. See how tiny they are? Say tiny.
Tiny.
And show me with your fingers. Tiny.
Tiny.
Today you're going to be looking at some plants, some flowers. They're called impatiens. And you're going to look like scientists. You're going to use your magnifying glasses and you're going to look for the primary root and you're going to look for the secondary roots, and then you're going to look for the tiny
Pelitos.
pelitos in Spanish, and hairs, tiny root hairs. That's not all we're going to do. Guess what? We are also going to try to make our own picture of the roots growing out of the seed. I have another question. What do roots do? Why do plants have roots?
Grow.
Raise your hand. Adrian.
Because they have sun, they go smaller.
If they have sun, they grow smaller? Is that what you said? Or they grow bigger? What is bigger or small?
The flower. Tiny or tiny.
Are you talking about the plant?
Yeah.
Yes. What makes the plant grow?
Water, soil, sun, and air.
Very good. And anything else?
And seed.
Well, we need a seed. The seed is what we need to use.
Raíces.
Roots. Yes, very good. Give me 5. Very nice. Sit down quietly. Guess what? Look. What do you think I have here?
Popote.
Yes, popotes. Do you know what they're called in English?
Popote.
They're called straws. Can you say straws? And that is what, over here, Lani, I want you to sit down and look at this. This is what roots do. Adrian was telling us that the roots help the seed grow. Fabian told us, like in a tree, they grow. They grow because they drink water. Group 1, you are going to be making your own root system, but guess what you're going to use? No, I wish I had some straws. You know what? That's a great idea. I like that idea. Maybe we can bring some straws and make the roots with the straws. But today, we're going to use pipe cleaners. And you can use any colors that you want. I have some color. What color is this?
Red.
What is it?
Red.
And this one?
White.
And this one?
Yellow.
Black. And the last one?
Yellow.
And look, I can decide. You get a choice. I'm going to use white for the seed. And I'm going to make my seed. In kindergarten, it is vital that we have a lot of conversation, that we have a lot of realia, that we hit a lot of connections so that the children are ready to access the information that they have and then connect it with the information that we're going to give them. Now, the lesson that you just saw is based after a lot of discussion, a lot of realia. We read a lot of books on roots. The lesson is on roots and the root system. This lesson was very important because we thought as a kindergarten group that they were ready to access the new information that we were going to give them after a lot of background information was given to them. We believe it is extremely important to give a variety of experiences to our children. And so then we really put a lot of purpose and intention as to what materials we bring into the classroom. In the lesson, you will notice that I have used blocks, that I have used sketching and Sharpie. Anything that we can use to make connections for our students, we bring into the classroom. And our hope is that they, once they have the background, will make connections and will use the materials in a way that they can make representations. The goals that I had for my children in this science lesson were, 1, to learn the function of the root and the purpose for a root. 2nd, I wanted them to use scientific language to represent the root system. I focused on vocabulary, and the vocabulary was essential, especially for students who have a second language to learn, which involves all my students. I wanted them to learn primary root, secondary root, and root hairs, and be able to represent it visually. Now we are ready to provide our students with more experiences with roots. It is very important to give children multiple experiences of the same concept so that they can really internalize it. So therefore, we will be planning at a grade level more experiences with the root system as well as root function.
Why their names?
Their names. Which part here is the secondary root? Yes. So you're going to put your sticker right there that says secondary root. Yes. Oh, and the same thing for you, Mija. I'm going to give you your stickers too. Which one? Lizzie, show me which one it is. Show me which one it is. Oh, I have to take pictures of these. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Okay, stand next to it and show me which one it is. Which one did you build? Which one? Which one? This. So it's any of these. So you made a taproot, a primary root, a vegetable. Okay, let me take a picture of you and your creation. Okay. Big smile, Nick. Excellent job. I have some people who actually brought some things that they wanted to share. What did you make? Well, we're asking Benito. What did you draw? What is this? A carrot, exactly. And where is the root of the carrot? Yes, right here. Exactly, look at, he's pointing to the root because the carrot is the root. It's called a taproot. This is the primary root. Teaching at PLN is very different. One of the things that is completely different and that I have not seen before in other districts is the purpose and the intention that teachers have behind their planning. They feel that it's extremely important to really be cognizant of the lesson that you're going to give and provide students with a variety of materials for them to express that knowledge. At PLN, inquiry-based learning is essential. We really take into consideration the questions and the interest of children. When planning a lesson, it is also very important to consider success criteria. Now, what does that mean? For me, it means actually making connections with students and their actual learning. I do this by walking around to all the groups actually and asking them questions. I want to know what is going on in their head. And the best way is to ask them a question, give them some wait time, and have them answer by actually using whatever language and whatever limited language they might have to be able to make sure that they have had some concept learning. In this clip, I'm emphasizing language and trying to make connections for my students in both languages. The primary root. Can you say that? Primary root. It comes from the word primera. Look at how thick it is. Gruesa. In this clip, I am focusing on documentation. Oh, just wait until you show your parents. Excellent, thank you. Oh, this one too, it's beautiful. Is this one yours, Kathina? Let's see, sit down with it and show me what you've created. Tell me about your construction. Show me here. Where is the seed? Okay, and where is the primary root? Are they primary? Las primera que salió? Primary, yes. And where's the secondary roots? Yes. And where are the root hairs? Excellent. Okay, let me take a picture of you and your construction. Ready? Nice smile. Every time that there is an opportunity to document, to take pictures, as well as document by writing down the specific words that students are saying about their learning, you are doing formative assessment. It's another way, and it's a fun way, because not only can you tell that the students are learning by what they're saying, but they also have a way to access that information.
Las clases de mi niño son dúo, son en español y en inglés. Las de español son escritura y lectura. En inglés son matemáticas, ciencias y ciencias sociales. Ahorita está aprendiendo a hablar los dos idiomas porque pienso que es correcto, porque a mí no me gustaría que perdiera el idioma español. Yo quiero que él hable los dos idiomas, inglés y español, porque no me gustaría que él perdiera las raíces de nosotros. Mi niño ha aprendido mucho sobre la ciencia, pero me habla en español y me cuenta que cuando van a los paseos exploran las plantas que tienen muchas raíces, que las hojas de los árboles se caen, muchas ideas que en el preschool casi no aprendió, pero ahora ha desarrollado un poquito más su mente y sus pensamientos, porque luego vamos caminando y me pregunta, ¿por qué los árboles están tan grandotes? ¿Por qué si los árboles necesitan agua? Y yo le digo que claro que sí, que necesitan agua para sobrevivir como nosotros. Que como nosotros tomamos agua, los árboles también necesitan agua para crecer grandes, como él los ve. Y las plantas, las flores, todos necesitamos agua. Que sea un niño de bien y sea un profesional cuando sea grande.
Professional development is one of the critical elements of our educational model at Para los Niños. Our teachers meet on a weekly basis to discuss and monitor students' progress in reading and mathematics. In addition to that, in the areas of social studies and science, our teachers have an opportunity to talk with the pedagogista to discuss students' questions and students' responses to lessons. Part of our approach is to think of teachers as researchers. We want to be reflective practitioners in education, and we want to be refining our educational approach on a daily basis. Our pre-K and kindergarten teachers had the opportunity to meet with UCLA researchers on an ongoing basis. Through these meetings, we were able to look at some of the consistencies within our program and some of the areas where we had to develop a stronger bridge between the pre-K and the kindergarten program. By looking at science and academic English language development, we were able to focus on the types of experiences that we could afford our students within the pre-K program and to link those up with what we were doing in kindergarten.
During the first year of the project, our goal was to systematically observe and document existing science curricula and instructional practices being implemented in pre-K and kindergarten classrooms. Based on our observations, we identified several key gaps between pre-K and kindergarten science instruction. One of the gaps we identified had to do with the language of instruction being used during science lessons. In pre-K, Spanish was much more prevalent. In kindergarten, English was the dominant language used. Our observations also revealed differences in the ways that teachers and children participate with one another during science lessons. Teacher-guided small group instruction was common across both settings, but whole group instruction lasted for considerably longer periods of time in kindergarten, while pre-K offered many more opportunities for child-initiated free play. In kindergarten, teachers referred to very specific science curriculum guides, which delineated science concept learning goals and language learning goals in great detail, and these goals were tied to California state standards. In pre-K, curriculum guides for science did not exist, but instead, lesson planning evolved through a continuous cycle of building and expanding on children's existing interests and knowledge. We developed several tools with the teachers to aid them in the implementation of the new curricular adjustments. For example, a pre-K science curriculum guide and a kindergarten science curriculum guide supplement. These two documents help the teachers to think about the learning formats that are present in either of the learning settings so they can be more aware of how to change their own practices to help bridge the gap between pre-K and kindergarten. Currently, our focus is on collecting various kinds of data to document the implementation of the new curricular strategies and to analyze their effectiveness in blurring the transition from pre-K to kindergarten. Of course, there's continued support for students' language learning in the content areas as they move up through school.
Okay, there's one more. Alejandro?
Liquid.
Liquid. Can we all say liquid?
Liquid.
Right, so we have solid, liquid, and gases. And today we're going to focus on solids, okay? So today we're going to focus on solids. Who remembers what are characteristics? If I say, what is the characteristic of a human? Patrick, what's a characteristic?
Something like their own space.
Okay, so I take up space, okay? Alejandro?
The shape you are.
Also, a shape that I am. So something that makes me what I am. Okay? So we're gonna focus on what makes a solid a solid. Okay? So what, well, you can read it with me. What are the characteristics of a solid?
We're not just regular scientists, we're something else. Who remembers that? It starts with a J. Johan, do you remember? No? Adelaide?
Geometry.
Geometry is math. It starts with geology. Geologists. Say geologists. We are geologists. Do you remember? Because we're learning about the earth. Now, we had talked about that there's 4 layers of the earth. Now, let's try to remember those layers because they are very important. But before we start learning about the layers, I need a picture right here about the earth. Half of it we could see the outside and half of it we could see the inside. On the outside, what is there in the outside? Who could tell me? Maria, you can tell me.
The water.
There's water, there's ocean, and you can see I drew some blue lines that symbolizes the ocean. And something else. America?
Land.
Land. Yes, there's ocean and land outside. But now, let's give me your hands and let's open let's cut it in the middle. Let's cut it. It's cut. Now, open. What do we see in there?
Rock.
Raise your hand. Alberto?
Rocks.
Rocks, okay. Let's start talking about the layers. Who could tell me the first layer on the top? The first layer. Adolfo?
Crust.
The crust. Good. Someone write right here the crust. Oh, this marker. Let's see. The crust. Someone write crust. Good. And can I tell you something? Something very interesting that I know you will love to know. You want to know the word to Spanish for that?
Yes.
You know, it's very important we know the word in Spanish because it starts with the same letter. The beginning sound for crust, it starts the same. It's called el, and I wrote it right here. La corteza. See that? I'm going to just write it right here. And I want you to look at it. It both starts with what letter?
I love it when they're doing that. They're asking each other questions, and they're asking teachers questions, and they're engaging in a dialogue. And something else that's really different, I think, about Para los Niños is the children's vocabulary. And that's not quite by accident that
No,
happens.
it isn't. It's systematic. It's really looking at academic English language proficiency, looking at the kind of language that is necessary within a domain of study, and also the language that crosses disciplines so that the children can actually talk about something at higher levels, reflecting their critical thinking. So our students are English language learners, but one of the things that I'm always amazed at is that by the time they're leaving the 5th grade, students are saying, you know, I'm visualizing this and using the words that really show their thinking and their strategies for thinking as well. This whole process of teachers as researchers, of students as lifelong learners, is also part of our role as educators, that we're lifelong learners. So this pursuit of this educational approach with Para los Niños is something that's going to be ongoing, and it's very exciting, and we're constantly growing because we're evolving as teachers and we're working at refining our skills constantly, and that's something that's going to be part of our life.
What you have seen can take a lot of effort, coordination and resources, but there's also a lot here that doesn't require extra funding or research grants. The staff and teacher willingness to learn, change and collaborate on new ideas are hallmarks of these 2 programs. PLN fosters a culture whereby teachers are researchers of their own classrooms. They gather information and data through ongoing formative assessment of their students' learning. They model the use of academic language and hold their students accountable for using academic language in their science discussions and science writing. This is the opposite of scripted curriculum. This is the opposite of teacher-proof. This approach requires teachers to experiment, to use inquiry, the way we learn, whether we're teachers, researchers, or students at Para los Niños.